3G, 4G, 5G. You've probably heard about them before. Each of these are a generation for a network connection. Each of these generations drastically change, meaning we can't really say that 3G is a little different from 4G, but 4G is a lot more advanced than 3G. Do you know how many Gs the first phones were? Guess, 0G. 0G phones were really huge and you had to carry them around like a suitcase. But 1G all of a sudden blew up. 1G phones were the first cell phones that people could buy. Even though it was 1 kilogram and it was the size of a brick, but the customers loved it. 1G phones came to the market around 1979 and they each cost around $3,000, which is $6,000 today. The rich people in huge cities usually had one of these. But the 1G phones didn't stay around for long, and 12 years later, in 1991, 2Gs took over. 2G had 15 times the speed of 1G, and the best part was that you could text now. 2G had its run for around 11 years, and that was when 3G came around in the year 2002. 3G was a lot faster than 2G, meaning the speed got to 50 times the speed of 2G. 3G phones were the first cell phones that could connect to the internet. 3G was so revolutionary that Apple themselves named one of their phones the iPhone 3G. But the technology was growing fast, and that is why 8 years later, 4G was introduced. It entered the market in 2010, and it blew up the market. How did it blow up? Because 4G had 500 times the speed of 3G. You see the speed of technology? This time it got 500 times better. 4G is still the king of the phones today because a lot of phones are still using it. In 2020, 5G was also introduced to the market, and with the new smartphones, you could connect with that technology. 5G just started, but now it's around 10 times the speed of 4G, and it's gonna go up year by year. But even with this 10 times speed, it's unbelievably fast. 5G didn't even make it out of the swamps, and they're already talking about 6G. What the heck is 6G? Usually, big companies like Samsung, when a new generation of network connection is introduced, they are already working on the next generation network. Like for example, even though 5G just started, but Samsung has been working on 5G since 2013, and it just came out in 2020. Even though 6G is gonna come out around 2030, but companies are working hard at it. The concept has been made and they already tested. This concept right now, meaning in 2021, has 50 times the speed of 5G. And that means you can download 100 hours of high quality video in 1 second. That's an insane number, 100 hours of movie in 1 second. You might say, why do we need this speed for? We have a 4G and it works just fine. But you haven't seen 2030 and you don't know what's the standard gonna be in the future. If you're gonna enter 2030 with 4G or 5G, you're not gonna get much done. Because in that era, your cell phone is supposed to do things that is not gonna make sense right about now. They're predicting that in 2030, most of the vehicles on the road are gonna be self-driving vehicles. If there's gonna be that many self-driving cars at that time, you need 6G. because 5G has a chance of disconnecting, but 6G doesn't have that. And that means if you take your self-driving car into the back roads where there's cliffs and stuff, and your internet disconnects, that means you're gonna crash into a wall or fall off a cliff. But 6G doesn't have this issue. 6G network connection allows newer self-driving cars to connect to each other and basically become one brain. And that means there will be no traffic. There's gonna be full of cars, but they're so well organized and coordinated that they're all gonna keep moving. As you know, traffic starts with a mistake. In 6G, the chances of a mistake are very low. But it still has issues. When your phone is working with 4G connection, you all of a sudden see you don't have internet. And that is because 4G connection has to be connected to an antenna that's about 15 kilometers away. This issue hasn't been solved by 5G either. Even though 5G is a lot faster than 4G, but it still has the issue of disconnecting. In 6G, the wavelengths are a lot shorter, and they still haven't figured out how to solve the problem of it disconnecting. They still haven't perfected the technology of 6G because they have to trust it so much that they'll put people's life on the line. Like in the future, buses are gonna be self-driving, and it needs 6G connection to be trusted on the road without a driver. Semi-trucks are gonna be like that as well. Samsung has given an idea that every 6G device should connect to each other, and that means you don't have to put a big antenna outside of the city. And instead of that, it connects device to device and keeps a very strong connection throughout the whole area. But 5G is still being introduced, and it's gonna get better and better throughout the years. But in the end, it has to give its spot for 6G, and even thinking about it, it's exciting. Just think about it, everything that exists in the world connected to the internet. Every house, all the cars, trucks, trains, airplanes. And you with your phone are going to be connected to the whole entire world. And that's at an instant. If you look at the technology growth from the year 2000, you see how insanely fast it grows year by year. It's growing exponentially, and it seems like it doesn't want to stop. Where do you think we're gonna end up? Please comment.